There's only so many times that we can binge watch Breaking Bad, scrub mildew off of the table, and then just spending time counting the number of holes that you have in your ceiling. Tonight we're going to be talking about, however, some really good things that you can do as a Catholic. 5 top Catholic things that you can do while you are socially isolated. My name is Father Christopher Plant. I'm the pastor of St. Bartholomew here in Katy, Texas.
I'm Father Rick Arriola, the parochial vicar here at St. Bart's.
And I'm Christopher Meyer, the seminarian here at St. Bart's.
Welcome to Conversing Clergy Live.
Here I am at your door. Would you let me in?
All right, so as we were saying, we're going to be talking about the top 5 things that Catholics can do while they are in social isolation. And if you're not aware, here, at least in Harris County, I'm not sure where you're watching from. We are actually under an order to stay home - work safe. That's the actual name of the order. So it's really important, to stay safe. Put on your glove. So this is the glove that I use to kind of touch things, and then with this hand I just keep it suspended in the air. And I can't touch my face with it. And what else can't I do? I can't touch any of the doorknobs. I'm not even touching the mouse with this hand. I got to use this hand right here. You know what? Forget it. I'm
He
done.
usually
You guys
uses
are
his
right.
left hand.
You guys are right. I'm kidding. I'm done. I'm
You're
done.
left-handed.
All right. By the way, you guys can chat with us if you want. Please feel free. Join us on Facebook. Join us on YouTube as well. And while I'm talking about Facebook and YouTube, if you can do us a huge favor and like, subscribe, follow, hit the bell notification on Facebook and YouTube. Hit all the good buttons, so that we can stay connected and you can help to support our page. So yeah, we're kind of just trapped in our homes right now, and it was the judge of Harris County that told us that we had to stay put, that we can't go out, and this all the residents both, and then prohibiting all gatherings, public and private, and we'll talk about what private gatherings means later on. And they also said that only those things that are essential will remain open. So it's like post offices and what else? Banks.
In Conversing Clergy.
Grocery stores.
Conversing Clergy will remain open. And so that's right. Well, it's really great that we get to gather. That's because we live here, but it's kind of neat having 2 priests, right? Because we can actually do certain things for the people, like Conversing Clergy, celebrate the Mass. We were able to hear confessions, but unfortunately I had to make a very hard decision, and that was to close confessions, except in emergencies, as well as adoration of the Blessed Sacrament. Absolutely gut-wrenching decision, but I knew that I had to do it for the safety of the people and of course to obey the law. So that was really, really hard. But still, we get to enjoy our fraternity here in the household, and so we get together and we're drinking our coffee here as well. I always like to drink Star Wars. I like to drink Star Wars. I drink in Star Wars. I like to drink coffee out of Star Wars mugs. And so this one, if you've seen Conversing Clergy before, then you'll be familiar with it. It's Han Solo on the front. There's literally a Millennium Falcon right here, a little Millennium Falcon in the cup. And then on the other side it says, "Never tell me the odds." So if you are a Star Wars fan, you know exactly what that reference is. What are you drinking from there, Father Ricardo?
It was hard for me to pick a mug today because there are like 50 of Star Wars, and I wanted to avoid Star Wars because I know that you always choose one of them.
Never avoid Star Wars.
I think
Mistake number 1.
I'm gonna start, maybe getting my own collection of mugs. I like this one because there's a bunch of creative, well, not creative, but really fun phrases, Catholic phrases.
Like what?
Well, the one that I chose is, "The Holy Rosary is a powerful weapon. Use it with confidence and you'll be amazed at the results." And I chose it, of course, because today we're celebrating the solemnity of the Annunciation.
Oh, that's right.
So,
Yeah.
cheers.
Big day. And I actually, there were some very, very few exceptions where we can celebrate Mass with people. And one of those exceptions is with nuns inside of convents. And so I was able to celebrate a Mass with nuns. today with the Annunciation. So
Wow.
yeah, very, very beautiful thing. So
It's actually where the word "nun" comes from. And I made that up.
oh, there,
I made that
very
up.
nice.
Oh.
I did not know that.
Don't go
we're
tell
learning.
people that, please.
We're
Anybody's
learning
watching.
all that good stuff. Okay.
So I just really like this mug. This is my favorite by far.
What's on it?
If I were to steal a mug, it says Houston, but it just kind of has like a cool version of the Houston skyline. I'm a big fan. Good volume for a cup. I will say there's a cup I want, and I'm just going to shamelessly tell all of our viewers that I want this cup and see what happens. I saw today on the internet this cup. It has a skull on it, and it says "Memento Mori." Remember your
like
dad.
Oh yeah,
Which
that's some serious messaging right
really
there,
cool.
man.
Which that used to be a very common Catholic thing, is people would keep actual skulls on their desks. It was very common for priests to do, which today, like, you would probably get reported to the authorities if you did that. But I figured you could have a mug.
Well,
with a
where
skull.
did they get the skulls from? That's what I want to know. Were there stores? Were there merchants? I mean,
I think they were relics, probably.
oh well.
I don't know. I don't
I'm
know.
I'm not sure that's much better than just going to the grave and taking a skull.
that you could ask the same thing about like the catacombs,
Hmm.
where they were celebrating mass in the early church.
Or maybe they were not real skulls.
Maybe.
Oh,
Maybe-
wait. How would they make fake skulls back then? They didn't have.
They would go to
They
this
didn't have
stores.
plastic resin and all that
What's
stuff.
that Halloween party store?
Yeah,
That's where they went. Oh
They
yeah,
went
yeah.
to a store like that.
I always
and
knew
got
it.
skull.
I
St.
always
John
knew it.
Chrysostom was like, "Let's head to Party City."
I always knew it. Oh boy, we got a lot going on with the chat here. Everybody's really engaged. So let's see. No order in Waller County, says Nadia, but we are staying home. Good for you. Good for you. Maricruz says, hello, thank you for the rosary earlier. Yeah, we offered up English and Spanish rosary in front of Jesus Christ, exposed in the Eucharist. Buenas noches, hermanos en Cristo. Hello. Makeup by Geraldine Contreras says, buenas noches. Marianne, good to see you again. Glad you're here with us. Buenas noches, Karina Estrada. Glad you're here with us. Devston Productions, Gracie, LaDonna. I'm glad that we don't have too many people or so many people that we can't actually read a lot of these comments. So, but we love to hear your comments on anything. And by the way, so we're going to go over these 5 top things. We're going to go into it in a minute, and then we're going to leave about maybe 20 minutes at the end for a Q&A, just general conversation, just a chat. Okay. Continuing with the comments here. Eddie Michelle, beautiful rosary earlier. Glad you were with us. Jesus says, good evening, padres and seminarista. So you're getting these shout outs that you've been asking for before. So Carolina, good to see you.
A lot of people have been asking to change it to seminarian and clergy, like the name of the show.
Yeah.
I've been getting that a lot.
Well, maybe it should be chatting with the seminarian.
Yeah.
Or seminarian chatting with others. So awesome. Aggie Chris, liquor stores are essential. Explain that one.
So they're still open.
Yeah, well, because they say grocery stores are open, and there's one place that I went to where they had some crackers. So grocery store.
Wait, no way.
I just totally made that up.
I was like, wow.
Oh man, I got you.
They started.
Trolling.
I think you have to get
Trolling.
a permit to sell perishable goods.
I don't know. But anyway, well, it's essential. So you want me to explain it to you? Why do I have to explain to you that a liquor store is essential? So, Aggie Chris, you got it, buddy. Okay, Marianne says, I see each one of you have a roll of TP apiece. Yes, we do. We are ready for the crisis. We're ready if anything breaks out. The toilet paper has been a proven method of making you feel like you're completely protected from the coronavirus.
Yeah. I heard that some of them have the coronavirus. So we need to be aware.
Yeah.
Really?
It was a joke. It was a meme.
We're gonna troll you every single minute tonight, man.
I'm just trying.
There was a
I'm just
meme
trying to
going on,
engage over here.
I love it. Aggie
incredible.
Chris says you're about to get 12 of those cups. So very good. Nadia says to Aggie Chris, so are pressure washers at clean at Walmart. So Walmart has pressure washers. There you go. Gracie says, gracias, Padre Christopher. Thank you for being here. Yeah, Katie says, congrats, you'll get 20 mugs. And yes, we are living free in Waller County, says Aggie Chris. Rob Stagg says, call me crazy. you're crazy. But you get great skulls from deceased people.
No.
Smith says skulls were carved for rosaries. This is getting real dark.
This is about to be dark, but it popped in my head. I have to say it. The first
that was a good. Did you hear that? That was a good pun.
the first known American serial killer. It was a guy in Chicago, and that's what he was doing. He was making it's not a mannequin. It's the ones they actually use in medical schools with people he was killing. It was really dark, and eventually he was a doctor. The first known serial killer in the United States.
I think I read that somewhere.
Holmes or something. Holmes might be his last
things.
name.
I don't remember.
There was a really terribly produced Netflix show about it. Leonardo DiCaprio's doing a movie though. It'll be good. Also
on Facebook, if you're chatting with us, welcome. Eduardo, I think he's double tapping here. Good evening, Adriana, Laura Matre. Stream is still not running on Father CP's Facebook page. I am not sure why that would be. Let me see if I can fix that really quickly. Thank you, Laura. She's our tech support. That's it. That's what I see it running on my Facebook page. So I'm going to do this really quickly. So yeah, we should be good to go. Melinda is commenting on the page, and double check on that. I think we are running. All right. Going back to the YouTube comments. Gail Weber says, "Oh no, TP doesn't protect against coronavirus."
Doesn't?
It doesn't. I guess it's too late now.
Wow.
Bobby says, historically, families in towns of Europe used mausoleums instead of burying people in the ground. So the darkness is getting even richer here.
This all started?
We're just going
to talking about the coffee cup I didn't have.
But it's cool.
I didn't have.
I actually like it because you can actually see
I'm
it.
so excited to get it. I can't wait. I can't wait to get 12.
If you want to get 2, that'll be great.
I like what Marianne says. She says, because of alcoholism, otherwise these people would end up in ERs. So alcoholism is saving the human race.
That's actually a good point. I mean, that happens with drug addicts, like heroin addicts. They actually have to give them some heroin, even when they check into rehab, because their body would go into withdrawals and they would die.
So hospitals have heroin in their cabinets?
I think rehab facilities.
They were using, heroin used to be something.
Well, that's how it started.
Heroin was a prescription medicine. Bayer used to sell it, I think, or they made it. I don't remember.
We're going to have to take this one off after we finish.
No. This is too late now. These people are already recording it. Awesome. K. Mary Gilbert says cadavers. So
cadavers. Thank you. That was the word. I wanted to say
word.
mannequin of medicine. Cadaver.
I love it. And then KDR says, Seminarian Chris, check out Sister Teresa Alethea's on Twitter, Pursued by Truth. She's got lots of cool memento mori stuff.
I think I know who that is. Yeah. She's legit.
Very good. All right. I think this is a good time for us to do also a meme break before we go into our top 5 things that Catholics can do while we are in social isolation. So, you know what that sounds like? Meme time.
It's meme time, it's meme time. Gather all your friends, it's meme time. It's meme time, it's meme time. The only cure for sadness. It's meme time, it's meme time. Gather all your friends, it's meme time. It's meme time, it's meme time. The only cure for sadness.
It's for your own good. You've got to stop touching your face. I actually like this one.
It's true.
I'm bad about that because I always touch my beard. That's why you grow a beard. That's why you
grow a beard. Exactly right. So I think I need one of those cones around my head. So I think Father Ricardo needs a cone around his head too. to protect your face. I mean, look at what's happened to it. You know?
No, that's
all right. He can
this
jab.
This is what I get
he
for
can jab
eating
at me.
a lot.
No, you're good. No, you're good. You're good. All right, so give 3 thumbs up if you like that meme, and if you didn't, then 3 thumbs down. We're gonna start a war on the chat here. Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about the first the first idea, the first thing that we came up with as we sat down and had a conference about this.
Really extensive discernment.
Really extensive discernment. Very prayerful. So the first one is for us to do projects. Now we're talking about Catholic projects. Everybody is doing hardware store projects, etc. I know because I went to a hardware store, and not recently. This was like a week ago. And they said they had seen people they had never seen before. I had to go get a desk. I'm trying to get a desk for my computer setup over here, and went to Office Depot. And it says, "I'm sorry, sir, we're out of this desk. We're out of that desk," just constantly, because everybody's out doing projects. But let's talk about Catholic projects, some things that we can work on.
Father Ricardo's your man right here. He's got some. You've knocked out like 2 already.
Yeah.
Or you've thought of one and knocked out another.
Right.
What projects have you thought of?
There's actually one that I need to finish. So I like to paint, and I started an icon months ago, and I just didn't have the time. And I think that I'm just gonna take advantage of this extra time that I think I have in my hands, and so I just want to finish. It's an icon of Our Lady that she's holding St. Mary's Seminary Chapel in her hands. So I'm very excited about that. I started a project about 2 years ago on composing antiphons in Spanish based on the original ones in Latin, and I am probably halfway of the Roman Missal, which is huge. But I also did a mini project, and I already finished with 7 antiphons that can be used throughout the whole year for communion. These are called Eucharistic antiphons, and they are in my own page on Facebook. They're free to download. I also did some videos with it, so you can download those as well, or just watch them and sing along. The other project
This guy's so holy, man. He is so holy.
Well,
am I right?
The last project
Jeez, that's
I'll
just awesome.
talk about
That is so awesome.
is I created a chaplet to pray during this coronavirus epidemic, which is just I threw different quotes from Scripture, and then a litany of special saints, especially throughout epidemics, and it's right there in PDF for you to download. And maybe I'll do also a video, and I'll post it on my Facebook.
Jeez
so
Louise, man.
I think right now that's what it is.
You're putting us to shame, man.
But I do want to.
He created a Catholic devotion. He created one. Who creates Catholic devotions?
Saints.
That's who creates Catholic devotions.
Well, fake it till you make it.
Saint Faustina,
right?
Catholic devotion.
Fake it till you make it.
That came from Jesus, but
now,
you get the point.
The last thing I want to share is not my idea, but Arlen Nichols.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay,
Heard of
so
him.
his son.
I texted him today.
Hey, Cindy sometimes joins us. His wife.
Oh,
Sometimes
that's
with
great.
Us. Yeah.
So I asked.
He doesn't have a Facebook, so it's actually probably her.
Yeah, probably.
Oh,
Anyway.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
I asked Arlen if I could share this. So his son, the oldest one, he is planning his own prayer book. But look at this. He already planned all the prayers that he is going to have in that prayer book.
I don't think they can see it though.
No, I know, but I want you to
Maybe
see it.
I don't know if
It
there's a
looks
way
like
to.
it's written on papyrus.
I know, right?
Yeah, maybe so.
But anyway, this is going to be a tremendous work. And this comes from, I don't know how old he is.
That is
he
incredible.
9?
That's incredible.
I was gonna say that, but no, he's older than that.
Yeah.
He's easily
11?
I'm so bad with ages. I like to
me
joke.
too.
I usually when I see a kid, I say, "How old are you?" and then I just throw out a random number. But what they don't realize is that is as close.
But
as my
isn't
guess
that
would
an
be.
awesome project for families that are
That
watching?
is.
No, it's
That
amazing.
is an
Create
awesome
your own
project.
prayer book.
Yeah, create
Family
a family
prayer book.
prayer book.
A
I
family
agree.
prayer book.
Family prayer book.
We should have one here at home.
A family.
We should have all exorcistic prayers.
We have a family prayer book. It's called the Liturgy of the
The
Hours.
Missal.
Oh, fist bump.
This is devotional.
Three thumbs up for Father Christopher. You thought that was clever.
Well, you
So-
brought a good point. The difference between liturgy and devotion.
I love it. Ah, very good, very good. Yes, all right, good.
So I mean, man,
So
we
what's-
really extensively covered projects, but I want to tell you about the project that
Yeah.
I haven't worked on at all. But if I was as productive as Father Ricardo, I would have been working on. So writing a book is hard. I want to write one book in my entire life. That's the goal. Just one book. One book.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Just
going to
one.
be titled why God's a sports fan. It's kind of one of those really to pull you in. So a lot of people don't realize I am a huge sports fan. When I was in high school, people used to say, you're going to work for ESPN one day. Like, you're going to be a sports center anchor.
Yeah.
And I went to an all-guys high school.
I agree with that.
And
I still think that's true.
And people thought, but the funny thing is, I mean, that's messed. Dang it. He's writing my evaluation. I'm dead. It's funny because I love sports so much, but I found them so easy to give up for the faith. Like, even with coronavirus, like, all these sports leagues have been canceled.
Yeah.
And there's just way bigger fish to fry right now. Way bigger fish.
Oh yeah,
So,
of course.
so this book, it's gonna. I really wanted to have some philosophy in it. So, but basically, I'm hoping that sports fans will pick up this book, and I can kind of tap into the amazing tradition and nostalgia of sports, and explain why it's even better in the Catholic Church. I actually really do believe that.
That's awesome. Yeah,
So-
I gotta interrupt because we have
I'm
some
done.
great comments in response to you guys. So I was reading here on Facebook, and Angelica Morphin says the composition that Father Ricky posted is absolutely beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
she
you
says
so
she
much.
listened before going to bed. And it was
Appreciate
so
it.
relaxing, beautiful voice. Absolutely, Father Ricardo has the best voice, and I'm not actually trolling. I'm actually being serious
His
this time.
voice is so.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was horrible.
Sometimes I just ask him to sing me to sleep. He never does, but I ask.
I think he can also talk me to sleep. So either way.
I think it's the opposite, Father.
This is the way it's going to be for the rest of the night. Somebody said that we got cabin fever, and it's so true, man. Oh my gosh. Adriana Field says, I like the Yoda. So yes, we have Yoda featured. By the way, some projects that sometimes I do is I do 3D printing. So I got a little 3D printer.
Oh,
and-
wow. You
Yeah.
printed that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is 3D
Wow.
printed. Yeah, this one
That
isn't
is
as
amazing.
I have a better one downstairs, but I like to print this because it's actually kind of a challenging print.
It looks
So-
like China.
Anyway, yeah,
know?
it's
But it's
yeah,
plastic.
Yeah, it's plastic, and then you put it in an alcohol bath, and it smooths it out.
That
So,
one is
It
pretty
does
cool.
look like China. I can see
Yeah.
the virus right there, Corona.
yeah. Well, that's why I had the glove. And so,
There's a lot of puns.
oh my
there.
gosh, oh my goodness, very good. Going back to the live stream on YouTube, I saw some pretty good quotes here from folks, and then we'll move on to the second one.
Yeah, we'll be
by the
done
way,
we'll be done by midnight.
By the
at
way,
this
I need to drop things that people can actually do at home.
Yeah.
So if you're not writing a devotion to be promulgated through the Holy Father 200 years from now, or if you're not writing or painting an icon, someone actually who did say that she's going to be painting, and I've seen some of her artwork, which is pretty beautiful. One of our parishioners. There are other things that you can do right now. So I was talking about it before we started. Build a shrine, and I don't mean like a literal shrine like you would see in among the painted churches. I'm talking about in your home. Find a corner and do something with it. If you don't have a place where you gather together as a family, like an official place, now's the time to work on that. And so,
And something that I love to tease families about, I mean, everybody, and we've all done it, I still do it. You'll kind of complain about a parish, which I would say St. Bartholomew has very little to complain about compared to many parishes, but you'll kind of complain like, oh, I wish we had this, I wish we had this. And it's like, oh, well, how's your domestic church? Let's start criticizing your domestic church. And that really is something that you have so much control over. I mean, as a seminarian, I've had just the fortune to visit some houses that are like, wow, this is so beautiful. I mean, families' prayer is centered around an altar that they have in their house. And
that's it.
they update it with seasons, devotionals, feasts that are big deals.
the way to
Like
go.
all the kids have patron saints, and you can put so much into that. So what a great time to
I've
build
seen so
an
many
altar.
pictures of our parishioners sharing on Facebook how
Yeah.
they gather on Sunday. They have their own little altar with the Word of God opened, with a beautiful statue of Our Lady and our Lord, and then the TV, right, with the live stream mass, and they have chairs. I mean, they have been very creative,
That's
guys.
legit.
You have
That
been
is legit.
awesome.
Yeah, I got another really neat little project here. Erica says, what I have on mind is doing a coronavirus diary for my children. Pictures while in isolation, thoughts, memes. That's a great project right there. That's so amazing. It's the way of bringing the family together, and it makes something that can be so negative also bring out positive within it. So
we're gonna remember this forever. I mean, we're living in history now. He'll always be able to say, "My first year as a priest was the Corona year." I'll always say, I'll be like telling seminarians 20 years from now, I'll be like, my pastoral year was the coronavirus year.
Yes. Yeah. The same year that you went on pastoral year, a plague hit the earth.
Yeah.
No coincidence whatsoever. So I'm sorry, we're gonna just keep on doing this all night. So,
but it's good. It's good that you're already thinking ahead when this will pass.
Yeah.
Because I think that helps us to know that eventually this will pass. And we need to focus on that.
Amen. Amen to that. All right, great. A lot of great chat tonight. Marianne says, I would love to crochet altar lace for the edge of a cover for the altar. Awesome. I have several patterns from the 1930s. Even better. And that is why they used to be made before mass production. So that's great. Or that's the way they used to be made. Yeah. A few of us, Melinda says, a few of us from the 5 p.m. youth band met Monday evening and did a few videos of praise and worship songs in the Rosary Garden, posted on Facebook for our St. Bart's family. When did you do that? Oh, that was Monday. I guess it was kind of okay on Monday. So, because they said they gathered. They did a few videos. I hope it was less than 10, and I hope that you were 6 feet apart. So I think they might have gotten us in trouble here at St. Bartholomew. So we'll see. But I'm glad y'all are doing something, doing something beautiful and good instead of binge watching Breaking Bad. I mean, there's, after you binge watch Breaking Bad the third or fourth time, it gets really boring. So not that I know anything about that.
So everybody pray for Galveston Houston Seminarian Joseph White. He returned yesterday from Rome, because he's studying at the North American College, and he has to be quarantined for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He is in a room in the seminary, and I was actually telling her today, I was like, you just got to do it. You got to binge watch Breaking Bad. There's no other way. There's no
Breaking Bad really is, it's a commentary on sin and how it gets worse. Anyway, we're not going to go into Breaking Bad, but we need to go to the second one.
People don't understand how small those rooms are at the seminary.
Oh, they're horrible.
It's not like, okay, you're at the seminary. No. It's like being in jail.
You could fit like at least 2.5 of those rooms in this room.
Yeah,
it's so bad.
To be fair, I'm going to be clear. He actually has a suite. They gave him they gave him a 4-minute suite. But the funny thing is, he's having air conditioning. He's having air conditioning trouble.
Good. Oh, good. Yeah.
But he's not even bothering reporting it because he knows that no one would go into his room to fix it because he's under quarantine. So he's not. His AC's off. Poor guy.
Oh wow.
I think I want to read very quickly. Erica Vallenas, just kind of go off topic, asked for a prayer intention for high school seniors of 2020. They're feeling sad, devastated right now. They might already have their last day of school without them knowing. Definitely devastating. Their graduation has been moved. Ordination has been canceled. I know it's happening in colleges. So, Jeremy Rodriguez says, "Hey brother, we are listening in. Love the rods." So I think you're talking about these, right? So Jeremy Rodriguez, by the way, he is the lead of To Love and Rescue. So the music that you hear at the beginning when we're opening up all those songs, and the music that we end with Endless, which is my all-time favorite Christian song, he's the guy. He's the one who puts together all that music, and he's very, very generous in letting us use those songs.
Congratulations. You have amazing talent.
So now we've told all of these Catholics that you're allowing us to use these for free, so we want that to remain.
No. No, it's because I'm special. That's the point I'm trying to make. So, To Love and Rescue, check them out, toloveandrescue.com. All right, so we're going to move on to the second one, but before we go to the second one, I need a laugh. You know what that means?
Meme time.
Meme time.
Let's do it.
In the meme time.
It's meme time, it's meme time. Gather all your friends, it's meme time. It's meme time, it's meme time. The only cure for sadness. It's meme time, it's meme time. Gather all your friends, it's meme time. It's meme time, it's meme time. The only cure for sadness.
Chuck Norris has been exposed to coronavirus, COVID-19. The virus is now in quarantine for 14 days. Come on, man. It's Chuck Norris. It's a Chuck Norris meme.
It's Chuck Norris meme.
Yeah.
I love Chuck Norris memes. Another favorite of mine. It actually came up in that movie. I can't remember. It's all those heroes. The has-been
Avengers?
heroes. No, it's the has-been heroes. The
Star Wars.
oh my gosh. We're cutting you off. We're cutting you off. No, it's where Chuck Norris says he got bit by a cobra once, and after 3 agonizing days, the cobra finally died.
Oh, what is that?
Come on, it's Chuck Norris joke.
That's the Expendables or something? Or
Expendables.
No? Is that it?
I think it's the Expendables.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
No, that
Sylvester
is funny.
Stallone. Yeah. All right. So the second one, second thing where we can the second of the 5 top things that Catholics can do is study. Now I know that sounds boring. Oh my gosh. Or maybe you're saying, oh, we already knew that. Well, no, we actually have some specific things that you can do that are accessible. Some things that you can write down right now and say, I can start this tonight. So one that's super simple, I think, is read all 4 Gospels. It's simple.
That's great.
Yeah, a chapter a day or something like that.
Yeah.
Or you can kind of space it out so that, and the Gospels are so easy to read.
Yeah.
Not always easy to understand, but I mean they're accessible. It's not like reading, numbers or something like that.
And what's funny, and I can say this to almost everybody, you're gonna stumble upon some parts you're like, that's in the Gospels? That started to happen to me when I was in seminary.
Exactly.
Like, oh, that's weird. I don't remember that parable in there. And so it's kind of cool to just read the Gospels cover to cover.
Yeah, for sure. We always have to go back to the source of everything. It's good that we read, spiritual books from saints, or great authors. But it's like, you know what? Let's just sit with the Word of God and actually read all of them, the 4 of them.
Just sit down and read it. That was when we had Angel. What was her last name? Jackie Francois. Yeah,
Jackie Francois Angel.
Jackie
That's
Francois.
why you said
Angel
that,
Angel Francois. Yeah. She made that a challenge for our youth. Read all the Gospels, but just read. She said read 1 paragraph a day, not even 1 chapter, just 1 paragraph. So there you go. There was some other really good ideas. I think, Father Ricardo, we talked about the Augustine Institute, right?
Well, I want to talk about the Liturgical Institute. Because Augustine Institute, I remember it's from Formed. So they can have access through Formed, which is a beautiful resource. But there is an amazing site. It's called liturgy.teachable.com. And right now, guess what they're doing because of this coronavirus thing? 1 course that it's called the Introduction to Sacred Liturgy, that it costs about $300. They're giving it away for free.
Wow.
Right now. So please do that. It's amazing. I already watched the whole, I think it's a total of 5 or 6 hours. And so I'm not done with the 6 hours, but I'm like halfway. And it's so good. So please go to liturgy.teachable.com and register for the other ones as well. There are some about the sacraments, about sacred music. I mean, what a great time right now that, the faithful are not coming to Mass for the liturgy, that they are more formed, and then when they come back, they appreciate even more the sacraments and the liturgy.
And by the way, we're not getting paid to say that. So.
Oh, not at all.
Yeah.
No.
Well.
But yeah. I trust them. They are in Mundelein, Illinois.
Yeah, and I'm showing up on the front here for you guys to check out.
And many of these people from this Liturgical Institute, some of them, they have a podcast. It's called Liturgy Guys. So I just wanted to tie these 2 resources together.
They're actually pretty good.
Yeah, Liturgy Guys is free. It's a podcast.
Yeah.
And they're amazing. So
good stuff. Yeah. There's also another thing that I've seen. Yeah, you were talking about the Liturgy Guys, and then you had one as well that we were talking about. What was it called? You don't remember?
Well, I have another one to throw out, but if...
No, go ahead. Yeah.
So another one that's just awesome is called Aquinas 101, which I feel like everybody's behind on right now.
Is that a website?
So the Thomistic Institute is putting it on, which is run by the Eastern Province Dominicans.
Oh, wow.
And it has kind of the section of the Summa to read and videos. And the Summa is not nearly as intimidating. I'm sure you've heard, oh, Thomas Aquinas says this, Thomas Aquinas says that, and you feel like maybe it's too tough to handle.
Mm-hmm.
This breaks down into so many videos. I mean, they really do simplify, like, what is a substance? You know, they really kind of get, and I mean, I guarantee you, if you start watching these videos and doing the readings along with the videos, which you can find all of the Summa online, you will suddenly be in the top 0.01% of, you know, or I guess I should say the top 99.99 percentile of Catholics. I mean, of Catholic theologians.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, you can't get better than Thomas Aquinas. You know, in fact, I've got right behind me, over to my right, I've got the Summa right here. I have it both in English and in Latin.
They look new.
So the dark blue is the Latin, and the light blue is in English, and I really try my best to take them out and clean the outside and keep them polished, and then put them back.
They look new. I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Something actually for people who are interested in the law of the church, canon law. If you want to go to this website, it's called canonlawmadeeasy.com. They have questions and answers.
That's
and
a good
they're
one.
Amazing. So if you're into, okay, you know, what about, you know, can we baptize somebody who is 8 years old? You know, how does that go about? Well, they need, you know, the sacraments go through adult faith formation, right? Anyway, I mean, can a wedding happen outside of a church? You know, all of these questions about canon law.
Can I throw one out, which is one that, so coronavirus is making everybody canon law always gets kind of rethought out when crises happens or there's big debates. One that I heard recently was, what is the age for a witness? What age does a witness need to be? Believe it or not, it actually doesn't say it in canon law. Why is that relevant right now? Because obviously now that's shut down, but there was a short window where they were saying you can still get married. It can't be a mass, and it can be only in the rite, and it has to be 10 or fewer people there. And so people were trying to make the case, can my child be a witness so that their children could be there and that wouldn't count in the numbers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's a legitimate...
That's a big one. Yeah, all of these things that we're going through. And I mean, just think about it, okay? And I'm kind of going off topic here, but this pandemic, this problem has been something that we've never confronted as a human race. And I know there's been plagues before, but not where it hits the entire human race all over the planet, pretty much all at the same time, because of the fact that we have airplanes. I mean, airplanes is really the biggest part of it, and the population's so much bigger, so much more, you know, more crowded.
And there's never been this much consensus internationally that we need to quarantine. I mean, it is just wild.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, we can argue about whether or not it's appropriate response. That debate is all over the place, no matter where you're from or what culture you are, or what nation, etc. So,
you know what's funny? That I was on the phone yesterday with a priest friend of mine, and I was telling him, you know, all these classes, you know, especially canon law class, you know, we went through so many scenarios, but our professor said, this will never happen. I guarantee that probably 90% of those extraordinary cases I've already lived in my 9-10 months of priesthood.
It's crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's the way it is. And so I'll read some comments here. So we got a lot of good engagement. You know, feel free to keep chatting away. Marianne says she just finished reading St. Augustine's The City of God. Very impressive.
No.
Very, very impressive.
That took probably a year for you to read. I mean, it's
amazing.
Huge. It's so long.
And it's very intense.
It's dense.
Yeah, it's very dense.
But it's amazing insight. Yeah.
Aggie Chris is praising Christopher Meyer for the big Star Wars slapdown. Joseph Troxler says, I love it, probably to the same thing. Rob Stagg says, yes. I hope you mean yes. He shouldn't continue in his formation towards the priesthood. Aggie Chris, you could read the complete collected works of the theology of the liturgy of Ratzinger. Yeah, that's a really good one.
Please, yes. I told them about that during one of my conferences that I gave. That's a great resource to have.
Yeah. Nadia says, a chapter a day, all 4 Gospels. How long are we going to be under this quarantine? Good question. You might as well you need to get cracking today.
We've got some inside information. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we're gonna buy stock as soon as it rolls in tomorrow. Let's see. Don, I've been listening to the Thomistic Institute since August. It's very listenable. Joseph Troxler has a good idea. Recommend Understanding the Scriptures by James Sosius and Scott Hahn. So very good. And Marianne says, I also just finished reading Flavius Josephus, War of the Jews.
Oh, wow.
So that's really good. That's good, intense reading there.
That's pretty cool.
And then on the Facebook side, Deacon Bill, our own deacon, Spiritual Classics of Modern Times. I Believe in Love, a retreat based on The Little Flower, Fire Within by Thomas Dubay.
That's amazing.
Both are out of sight in terms of spiritual life. And
Spiritual classics, yes. Because I always tell people that. Read spiritual classics. Read Francis of Sales.
Imitation of Christ.
Imitation of Christ.
That's
Or
a good one.
just something essential. Augustine's Confessions.
Yes.
Oh, we were saying
yeah, Confessions is great.
Yeah, I mean, there's just some essentials that you want to be able to be like, yeah, I read that. Because it's awesome.
Mere Christianity.
Mere Christian. Well, yeah, it's C.S. Lewis, which isn't.
I mean, I know C.S. Lewis is not Catholic. He was this close to become Catholic.
Oh.
Mere Christianity, though, it's really, really good. Peter Kreeft.
Yeah,
Kreeft. I'm sorry. Peter Kreeft.
Kreeft. It's actually in between. Kreeft, yeah.
That's very Texane.
Kreeft.
Dan. Mere Christianity is amazing, though. I always tell. C.S. Lewis was actually writing that book, hoping it would get approved by the Catholic Church. And I've heard that one of the chapters that he had a hard time, like they were like, nah, was when he was trying to make a distinction between like civil understanding of marriage and church. Like they weren't really willing to have that. They were like, we don't really want to go down that road. Here we are, C.S. Lewis.
Here we are, exactly. Well, I mean, C.S. Lewis was just prophetic in so many ways.
Yeah.
Anna Marie says, which gospel would you recommend first?
Mark is the simplest, the shortest, so that's probably a good start. But some people love to read John, even though it's the most kind of theologically difficult.
It's my favorite. John is my favorite.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, multiple levels. So, yeah, maybe, and they say that John, it was the last of the Gospels written historically, and John would have had access to the other Gospels. So, yeah. All right, let's move on to the third one. And before we do that, though, guys, I just need a laugh.
In the meme time.
What time is it?
Meme time.
I want to hear you say it.
Meme time.
It's meme time, it's meme time. Gather all your friends, it's meme time. It's meme time, it's meme time. The only cure for sadness. It's meme time, it's meme time. Gather all your friends, it's meme time. It's meme time, it's meme time. The only cure for sadness.
No. Isolation time with a family. What could go wrong?
I can read. I mean, I can read.
But you don't see. You don't see. I told you what it said. You don't see who it is. You never seen the movie The Shining?
Yes. Oh. Okay.
Oh, well, that's what it is.
It's a family.
It's the family, the Shining family. Yeah.
I have myopia.
That's pretty
sorry.
dark. That's dark.
It is. Maybe we should go back to talking about skulls. I really like this one. I thought it was funny.
It is.
Oh wait, what does it say?
It says isolation time with the family. What could go wrong?
Oh wow.
Man.
Well, hey, yeah, that's.
I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny. Yeah, Red Rum says AK says R. Smith. I love it. And Don says Jack. Awesome. 3 thumbs up, guys, if you liked it. 3 thumbs down if you didn't. Let's get a war going on in the chat. All right. So the next one, Gail Weber, that is The Shining. Let's see the next idea. Okay, this is really a good one because we can get so absorbed in doing different activities, right? What if we just said, okay, today we're going to set aside time for just prayer and reflection. We're going to make it a day retreat, right? Now, this might be kind of difficult with kids, with younger kids, but maybe parents can be creative with that. But yeah, a day retreat. And then maybe you start in the morning and go all the way till dinner time. And Christopher has a good resource on that.
Yeah, Father Brian McMaster, who is just a fantastic priest, he started a podcast. It's a 30-day, he's calling it Ignatian Retreat, and it's like 20 to 30-minute podcasts each day. It's called Taking Back the Crown, because like coronavirus, and he wants to like give the crown to Jesus.
So Corona is crown.
Yeah, not
Means-
everybody's fluent in Spanish like me, so.
No, that makes that. I
No,
like
but
that.
it's
No,
I like
I
that
know.
connection.
it's not.
Yeah.
It's a different word. That's why
No,
people
I know,
may
I
not
know. I
make
was
that
just,
connection.
I just like to
Okay.
joke that I'm fluent in Spanish because I'm
Yeah,
the
yeah.
worst here.
Corona.
Yeah, so it is awesome.
But what's it
I mean,
about?
so he really I'm 4 days in right now. We're in day 4, but he even says at the beginning, feel free to, listen to the first one and then just pick up where you can, or listen to multiple during one day. But he's just really trying to use this time to return to prayer. And he tells people, hey, if you can only listen to my podcast and then give 15 minutes for the Lord, that's all you can do. Very flexible, enter it into your quarantine life.
It's not very intimidating.
It's not intimidating. And I think it could be incredibly deep. I mean, it goes, but it's nice. I mean, he gives you Psalms to pray with or different passages to pray with. And man, he's just kind of making it easy for me for 30 days.
And most importantly, he's an Aggie.
Most importantly, gig him.
Yeah.
So yeah, he is the pastor at St. Mary's Catholic Center at Texas A&M, and the last 2 pastors at St. Mary's Catholic Center at Texas A&M are bishops.
Everybody that knows him, they speak amazing things about this priest.
He is a true son
I
of
don't-
Mary.
He really
I don't know
is.
him, but
He's
he's very
amazing.
well endorsed.
He's amazing. Yeah, he actually has a Marian consecration book too. I mean, he's just awesome. He's awesome.
That's
Love
another
that, man.
great idea about prayer.
Yeah.
Consecration to St. Joseph.
Yeah.
Consecration to Our Lady.
Since we're telling you now, you're gonna have 33 more days. We don't know anything. I promise. We don't know.
No.
I love it. Well, good stuff. All right, so we can move on to, let's go ahead and read some comments, and then we'll move on to the next one. Man, they're divided over over that meme. I didn't realize it. So, all right. All work and no play makes Father Christopher something. I love it. Marianne says, not funny. She actually brings up a good point. People are living in situations right now, and domestic violence will be worse.
Yes.
I mean, that is definitely true. So we can remember them in prayer.
I prayed for that the other day at our
staff
meeting, because that is
Because you're stuck. Yeah, you can't really go anywhere. So
because some people
Yeah.
on this text. I mean, I would love to be like stuck at the Robson house or the Newman house or the Simmons house with my cool parents, but not everybody has the coolest parents ever.
Yeah. I'm just going to ignore him right now. So, Nadia says Father Brian wrote a great consecration book, so that's good. That's awesome. Consecration is Saint Joseph, so that's really good. So yeah, a lot of good comments. Melinda thought it was olive oil from Popeye. So yeah, it's kind of hard to remove that image of her, because I remember seeing Popeye when I was young and seeing her as olive oil. So, all right, good stuff. Let's move on to the fourth one. So this was just a suggestion that I have. We were talking about learning different devotions. I think it would be really good if you were to learn the Divine Office. And it's really not that hard. And if you're wondering what is the Divine Office, it's one of the liturgies of the church where the church prays all throughout the day. It sanctifies the day by praying all throughout the day. And it consists of multiple, I guess you can call them multiple hours or times within which that prayer is offered up. So there's the invitatory, morning prayer, office of readings, daytime prayer, which there's 3 choices in daytime prayer. You can do mid-morning, midday, or mid-afternoon. And then there's evening prayer, and then you have night prayer. And that rounds out the entire day of prayer. And it sounds like a lot, but it really isn't a whole lot in terms of time. And the Liturgy of the Hours is mandatory for priests, and I think it's pretty much mandatory for seminarians. I mean, not in terms of canon law, I guess you can say, but definitely part of the life of a seminarian. But but it's really for everybody. It's for lay people as well. So,
yeah, I think we need to definitely bring that back to a prayer of the church. I think it turned into kind of a prayer of the clergy, which it is. I mean, the clergy are the only ones who are promising their bishop that they're going to pray for the rest of their life. But it's so beautiful. And just some pointers, I guess I would say. if you're looking at starting, I always tell people start with night prayer. It is so short. And I think we've talked in some other
You start.
Conversing Clergy about like it's really good to do, or some of your homilies, like examination of conscience is really good to do before you go to bed. Well, you're supposed to do that before you start night prayer. And night prayer takes how many? 2 minutes, 3 minutes?
Yeah, it's not a long prayer.
If you sing, then maybe 4.
Yeah, I mean,
If you sing the night prayer,
it's very short because it's one psalm. So typically, no matter the readings that follow, there's 3 psalms that you're either chanting or.
And I guess if you committed many sins, it can take an hour. For your
That's true. But the idea is that you do it every single night. So then it's not, and I wish that I could say I did this, but I knew a seminarian who's now a priest, a very holy priest, who every night he would do his examination of conscience before he prayed Compline, and then he would jot down his sins in his phone. And it basically got to the point where he like wasn't having to do an examination of conscience before he went to confession.
Because he was constantly and that is a good idea in general anyway, even if you're not doing night prayer. If you want a good resource, there's divineoffice.org on the computer. I'm about to pull it up for you here, and this is something that I've used and that I continue to use. They have both the website as well as the app. I think they have it in Apple as well. Apple is a horrible platform for every single way, but you know
the Vatican uses Apple, right?
Well, there you go.
Just saying.
The software on here crashed. So what happened was when they updated when they update the software, they want to make sure to make it worse. So what? Hold on, I got it.
No.
It ended my stream completely on Facebook.
Oh.
Dang it.
We're in trouble here.
Sorry guys, I gotta get the Facebook working here real quick. Yeah, so Facebook automatically closed the feed. Hold on, guys. Maybe I need to find some better software because OBS just keeps crashing over and over again. Hold on for a second, guys. I'm going to be getting the Facebook started so everybody can get with us on Facebook.
So there was this Cheerio.
So why don't you start talking? Just start talking nonsense. Let's talk about skulls. That was a good topic.
What can we talk about?
Hold on, I'm getting there.
Let's talk about.
I'm gonna just go live. We're just gonna start.
Oh, you're just gonna start a new. Oh, that'll be.
I'm just gonna start a new chat, and whoever can make it over makes it over. And I'm gonna do.
The comments. Probably.
I gotta do it on both pages here. Go live now. You guys here back with us on YouTube, right? Yeah, good. Yeah, the OBS software, the broadcasting software, when they updated it, and you know this already, they want to make sure that it stops, that it doesn't work anymore. That's what updates do. Same thing with my Android. Now Apple, I'm not even going to start with them. They're just evil intrinsically.
Wow. Father Christopher prefers a phone that overheats randomly, starts playing videos and meetings. You know,
Apparently, I do.
That's the phone he wants, not the reliable iPhone.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's so true. Yeah, but I was reluctant to change to Apple because, I'm a graphic designer by profession, and so when I went to school, I mean, it was just. It was not Apple actually where I started like Photoshop and all these Adobe products. It was Microsoft, and it was a hard change for me. But honestly, it only takes one little change. Like I think for me, I think I purchased my first MacBook Pro. I loved it, and then after that, all the other products.
That is exactly what got me the laptop that I bought, which I've had for 4 years with no problems. It's been amazing. And I mean, I remember having trouble after about a year and a half.
The one that I have?
All right.
11 years old.
All right, we're going to stop this conversation. I asked him just to talk. I asked him just to keep talking, stall, as I was getting the stream set up, and they started talking about Apple.
Because you have very hard opinions against it. You created this.
Jesus used Android. Mic drop. All right. You know what? I think now is a good time for meme time before we move on to our last great idea. So I think it's time for a meme. What do you guys think?
I'm in.
It's meme time, it's meme time. Gather all your friends, it's meme time. It's meme time, it's meme time. The only cure for sadness. It's meme time, it's meme time. Gather all your friends, it's meme time. It's meme time, it's meme time. The only cure for sadness.
The next logical step, Lysol drops. This one
That's
actually
really
Father
good.
Ricardo
Yeah.
showed me.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's
Yeah.
good.
That's
You know,
that would
and-
be a great commercial.
They're actually out of hand sanitizer in so many different places too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that was probably the first product that.
yeah.
But
I mean,
you know,
I stopped washing my hands 2 weeks ago.
This is not a Catholic project, but
Just
you
kidding.
know how easy it is to make that at home.
How?
Alcohol and I forgot the other ingredient, but it was only 2 ingredients.
You know what? You had me at alcohol.
You just
Scotch, bourbon.
you just
No,
pour
no.
Oh,
whiskey on your hands and it's good to go.
I love it. I'm glad you guys are back on Facebook. Ironically, there are more people on Facebook right now than when we started, although I imagine some of the YouTubers jumped ship over to Facebook. But anyway, sorry about that malfunction. Everybody's back. So let's continue. Joseph Troxler said, remember, Adam and Eve used apple and see where it got them.
Yeah,
See,
they-
that was
you know what they
more
got us?
creative.
no fist bump. They
Fist
got us.
bump on the chat, buddy, on the chat.
They got us Jesus. Oh, happy fault.
Oh, happy,
Oh, happy
fault.
fault. There it is. Oh, happy fault.
That is kind of how I feel about.
Well, that's what Apple is. Apple is a happy fault. You're exactly right.
all right. Okay.
It's a fault that makes people happy.
Okay, we did the meme. Now number 5.
All right. Yeah, and then we'll
Joseph,
open the
good
Q&A.
job. That was a good job.
And then
Joseph.
we'll open the Q&A. So you are brilliant, by the way, at segues. So, all right, coronavirus party. Right? Did we say that? Number 5. Have a coronavirus party.
I think we were just gonna kind of talk about coronavirus.
Actually, this is real. I was when I heard the order from the Harris County judge, no public or private gatherings. I thought private gatherings, and I didn't know about this, but Father Ricardo, you told me people were literally having coronavirus parties where they were having like a bunch of people come over to the house from different homes. It could have been friends, family, whatever, but throwing a party at the house.
Yeah, so
You know,
I got an
and
emergency.
it's like, that's nuts.
I got an emergency call, and I go and take my gear and all that, my anointing kit and all that.
My gear.
And then I go in there, and you know what? It was a Corona party.
Corona
They
party.
invited me to a Corona
No
party at their
way.
home. No,
That's
I'm
unbelievable.
kidding.
Oh,
It is because it's not true.
I couldn't
But
believe
I
that
heard-
happened and you didn't come tell me
I
about
know,
it.
right? No, I heard
You didn't
that
text me, you
people
didn't tell me to go.
are having parties at their homes, which makes me think that obviously they're not taking this seriously at all.
Yeah. Well,
At all.
now it's technically illegal. How they're going to enforce it, I don't know.
Yeah.
But you did show me something. One of our parishioners showed it was, I guess it was a coronavirus block party, but they weren't close together. Everybody was sitting out on their front lawn with their families.
Mm-hmm.
The one that we saw was a dad with his guitar and his little daughter right next to him, and then you can see on the other front
Hardy.
lawn,
It's
Hardy.
Hardy.
I don't know if I want to say his name, but he was another one, another
It's public.
fundraiser.
It's on Facebook.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay. I thought he sent you the picture. Okay. So anyway,
Yeah,
yeah, it was really neat to see that.
smart people's Corona parties are good, but the problem is there's more dumb people than smart people.
Well, and
They
regardless.
say that. They say that the two most abundant elements in the universe is hydrogen and stupidity. Have you heard that
I
before?
believe that. I have not heard
Yeah,
that, but I
yeah.
believe that.
No, regardless of what people
Totally
think,
kidding, folks. We love everybody out there.
regardless of what people think about this virus, whether it's just political or whatever, the thing is, when we are given an order, we need to be obedient, right?
Well, I'm not gonna
Well,
Except that,
well, that's true.
Stipulation.
But we need to. Well, especially when it comes from our bishops. Okay?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
No, yeah, absolutely.
By the way, folks, we actually have more people on the stream than before. So if you're just now joining us, thank you for joining with us. And before we go on to our Q&A section, please, if you can help us out and subscribe, thumbs up, like the video on YouTube as well as on Facebook. Hit the bell notification on YouTube. Hit all the good buttons. Hit all the good stuff. And that would really be helpful for us. And share as well. That always helps. So very good. So I think now is a good time to open it up for Q&A. We got like more than 100 people or almost 100 people now.
And just the
So-
second part of the corona, while people are putting in their questions,
Yeah.
the real answer to this, which has been, so obviously toilet paper companies have won the coronavirus, and so have all of these business meeting, chat, video chat companies. Oh my gosh, they're like Zoom and GoToMeeting and all these, because people are getting on these. And,
I always wonder how they make money if all of this is free.
well, they charge, so some of them, I know Zoom charges more money if your meeting's going to be over 40 minutes, where I never wanted to have a meeting over 40 minutes, but I want to hang out with people as an extrovert on Zoom for more than 40 minutes.
How much is it?
Right.
$15, I think, to go. So, oh man, I'm telling you, I've been doing these like crazy lately. I'm dying. It's tough for me not to see all you parishioners. You don't even know.
Yeah.
I mean, it was heavy. Like this weekend, serving the 4 masses, and then
It was tough.
just going there and being like, I'm not going to run into any families I know or anything. It just,
Yeah, it's and I actually I had to fight through a homily when we first started. I was very emotional, and I had to say it too. Otherwise, people, I just wanted to let people know why I was so emotional. It was even a supernatural experience as well. Really having a sense of the hunger that our people have out there. So very, very, very difficult. At the same time, it's beautiful to see how we're connecting through these electronic means as well. So we have a question here. R. Smith asks, did y'all see the Vatican guidelines for Holy Week? And I did personally. Yes, I did.
Yes.
Did any of y'all see them?
I did.
Yeah. Very interesting what the Vatican has put out. They basically have put out guidelines for how we can celebrate Holy Week in case the impediments, that means things that stop people from going, continue. And so they gave guidelines to the bishops on how to do that. So obviously if that happens, and God forbid it happens, that people can't attend the Holy Week, the Triduum, then we're still going to have that celebration, but it's going to be through the live stream. But they told us how to do it. So I don't know if y'all had any responses to that as well.
I mean, I don't know if we can share a little bit of those points. I think one is we're not going to have the blessing of the fire. We're just going to lit the Paschal candle, and then the Exalted, it's going to be chanted. So, I mean, no procession in the dark and all of that.
And that's going to be tough. I love that big fire pit. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just the experience of it, especially as pastor, being out there and marking the candle. So
the washing of
I'm
the
going to
feet.
miss it.
The washing of the feet it's optional anyways. It says, it says right there. It's optional anyways. But so we're not having that. What's another big one? Well, no baptisms. That's a big one, right? On Easter Vigil.
Yeah.
So,
Supplicator says it was hard to watch your homily. I guess it was that homily that I had, especially with you walking about missing the faithful and hearing the echo in the background. That's part of it. It's just hearing that echo. It's yeah. Bobby asks, how shall we be able to participate in the Triduum without being at church? Well, we can watch the Mass. Easter should have more to it. I agree 100%. That's why we can pray for that, right? That at the very least, this crisis is going to continue for a long time, right? They're talking about this going on for 18 months. Not necessarily the major infection stage, but the impact it's going to have on us. But hopefully a strict sort of shut-in will be lifted, but I don't know. I don't know how likely that is. So, are there other questions out there? This is open Q&A. Yeah, R. Smith says only the celebrant receives communion. Now, we actually have, we are giving communion, or I'm giving communion to the deacon, and also the cardinal has authorized for seminarians to receive as well. So very, very small group just to keep it contained, but because of the position in the church, We want to the cardinals recognizing the supernatural necessity for us, and I mean it's necessary for all of us, but because of our position of leadership in the church, he's opened up communion to seminarians, which there's only for Galveston, Houston, not all that many. So,
not enough.
Not enough.
We have like 30 right now. We need more.
Yeah.
So tell your kids if you tell your boys.
Yeah. And
Be
I'm
priest.
sure we have so many vocations coming up from this parish.
So our vocation director was saying that there's actually been a lot more interest even since this started.
That's
People
wonderful.
have been taking like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
the sacraments are so important, like the priests are so important. And I think there's been some people who have been on the fence. Like, I just don't know if I'm called to be a priest. There's these other things I can do. And during this time, maybe one positive of coronavirus is they've realized, that is
essential.
so important.
No priest, no Eucharist,
Yeah, no priest, no sacraments.
no sacraments.
Here's a question. Backboy60, greetings from Chicago. Hello. Glad you're here with us here in Katy, Texas. I'd like to know, he says, your thoughts on how long this whole situation is going to last. I think we were kind of talking about that already. This is not really our expertise, but I think we can kind of speculate. It's safe to do so that in terms of the quarantine and the strict quarantines, I know here in Harris County, they put the limit at April 3rd. So then after that, we don't know what they're going to say, but in terms of the mandatory closing of all businesses except those that were considered absolutely essential, and people like citizens stay at home is what they were saying, and you could even be fined or jail time up to 180 days or something like that. But they said April 3rd will be the end of that. I had to make a hard decision to place some of my staff on furlough. A lot of us pastors are having to do that, and we had to push that out to April 30th. Ordinations have been canceled, so that's May.
Or at least, it's looking like our diaconate. Yeah,
And the diaconate,
they're trying to hang on to the priesthood because we need.
Oh, the priest, they're still doing priest. So the deacon.
Well, yeah, they haven't made an announcement.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
transitional diaconate is mid-May. That's not looking good, but early June, we're hoping.
Hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. What's your feeling on that, Father Ricardo?
I honestly don't know because, I have family in different states here in the U.S. And like in Tucson, for example, my sister was saying, right now there's so much traffic in the streets. So, I mean, different states are taking different precautions. So it's hard to estimate how long this is going to last overall.
And I think I was telling you, I feel like every person I listen to or video I watch, I sway back the other way. You'll see one person's like, oh, I think we're kind of making too big of a deal. Look at this stat, look at this stat, look at this stat. And then on the other end of the spectrum, I'll meet somebody who was really downplaying it, and all of a sudden they're kind of panicked, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
They're thinking we're going to go for a lot longer.
And I mean, right now, this stay home policy, right? I mean, it's only Harris County. And I mean, I'm sure maybe other counties are going to follow after.
Fort Bend
and Galveston.
And Galveston as well. In other words, pretty much all of Houston. I mean, the Houston area, or a significant portion.
Mm-hmm. So
here's some good questions that I saw on the Facebook side. One was on my fan page. The question was asked, can Deacon Gordon continue to do the Stations of the Cross during Lent and live stream it? It's definitely a possibility. That's something that we can look into. We're trying to adapt to the situation. For example, I made sure that we're going to do the bilingual rosary in the church with exposition at 6:45 today. So we wanted to make sure to do that. We may offer exposition of the Blessed Sacrament through live stream, of course, at the end of our masses for a bit of a time, with benediction at the end, which is a way that we can celebrate the Mass. So, yeah, we're gonna look into that and see what we can do. It's kind of hard to televise to do a live stream of the Stations of the Cross, but we can find some creative ways to do it. Another question: several times people have asked about confessions, and just like I said before, I had to close down confessions because of safety as well as the law. And someone asked about teleconfessions, and we talked about this, I think it was yesterday, that we really can't do confession through a telephone or through a screen. And Father Ricardo, you used a good image. What was the image that you used yesterday?
Well, like, for example, we would never say that it's okay to do consecration over the phone, have the bread and the wine, and have the priest on the phone and say, okay, say mass and make consecration. It can't happen, right? It requires the physical presence of both the minister and the penitent in the case of confession.
Yeah. And then just in general, I had to close down confessions, and the only case would be is in case of emergency of death. So someone asked about what happens if someone needs confession and then they die before they make their confession. There's two answers. Number one, if someone is in an emergency situation, we will get out there and hear their confession and give them anointing of the sick or last rites, depending on the situation. But number two, there is such a thing called perfect contrition. So perfect contrition is when someone who has committed a sin, especially a grave sin, and they say an act of contrition, and they say, Lord, I am sorry for this sin that I've committed, and as soon as I can, I'm going to go to confession. It's an act of the will. Perfect can be kind of scary. Well, it doesn't involve emotion. It just means I am sorry for this sin. I'm going to go to confession. I'm going to work on this, and I'm not going to do it again, or I'm going to resolve not to do it again. So, did y'all have anything to add on that?
I think this is the example of what would happen if there's an airplane accident, right? And you end up being in an island, and there are no priests. What do you do? Are you going to die in your sins and there's no more mercy? Well, no, right? For a Catholic in that situation, it's the same thing. You resolve, you are sorry, you repent it, and then, God's mercy does the rest, right? Remember that God is not bound to the sacraments, okay? Right. We are, but not Him.
Yeah, and I mean, I think I like to tell people that habits are really good, because when you have a habit, you know that you're going to continue in that. I mean, good habits. So if you die and you can look at God and say, God, you know that I would always go to confession once a month or twice a month. Now, obviously, this whole coronavirus thing, I didn't make it to confession. You're not going to be the person who's in heaven like, God, I would have gone to confession. I really would have. I desire the sacrament so much. I mean, I didn't go for 6 years before the coronavirus, but now I want it. So you want to be in that camp of you are frequenting the sacraments, and God knows that. Right. He knows that your heart longs for those sacraments, and He's not going to get you on a technicality. And I remember I said that when we were talking about indulgences. We never want to look at anything that the church provides as some loophole or tool that's really hard to understand. I mean, anytime you feel yourself experiencing anxiety about a sacrament or an opportunity for grace, re-examine how you're looking at it, because it's all just Jesus giving the graces merited on the cross to you for your salvation. That's all it is.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Another way that I've heard it is that God is not bound by the ordinary means that He has established by which we are to be saved. So that's another way that we can think about it. I saw another question that was interesting, and it was a concern about RCIA. So there are some scheduling concerns that I'm hearing. So one is First Communion, another one is RCIA. So people have a lot of anxiety about that. I can't speak for other parishes, of course, but I can speak for St. Bartholomew that I'm having that conversation with our director of religious education. I can tell you the principle that we go by is just like what you're talking about, is not to be overly legalistic about some of this stuff, right? To think about, first and foremost, the value of the sacrament and what is truly necessary to receive the sacrament worthily, to receive it in a way that someone can be prepared. It may not be the most ideal situation. Same thing with First Communion. Maybe we can't have everybody have a First Communion Mass all together, right? But maybe we can have them come on their own to the Masses when they finally open up, and they can receive First Communion on their own. So that's an idea that Cindy and I have tossed around. Same thing with RCIA. There's no strict rule that says that I can't celebrate the sacraments of initiation outside of the Easter Vigil. So there could be another date that we can set. And there's other ways of getting around it. So again, we can kind of just set aside those anxieties about it, and just know that it's going to happen, right? Kids are gonna receive First Communion. Our folks that are going through RCIA are going to go through the sacraments of initiation, unless there's some serious impediment that comes up, of course. And by that I mean like stuff that's super, super extreme. Like if somebody says, I don't want First Communion, or I don't want to receive sacraments of initiation. So, yeah, so some good questions out there. Another question, Ernesto Rodriguez asks, how is St. Vincent de Paul ministry? Is there anything we can do to help with food within our community? And right now, St. Vincent de Paul is working very quietly, kind of behind the scenes right now, since they can't really do anything too public. So, and I'm not going to go into all the things that they are doing. They're doing everything's above board, but there's really not much that you can do besides maybe giving to the church through. I think St. Vincent de Paul is on Faith Direct, I think. But if not, that's one way that you can do it, is just be ready to give to St. Vincent de Paul if you wanted to give on Faith Direct in a category there. But I may actually be kind of mistaken on that. But anyway, there's not much that can be done, is what I'm saying, in terms of people from the outside helping with it. But they are doing work. They are helping the poor right now. Looking at some other comments here on the fan page. And we're about to wrap up soon. But if there's maybe one last question. Great comments, by the way. Great engagement tonight. We really enjoyed this.
God is not bound by the coronavirus. I like
God
that.
is not bound by the coronavirus. Yeah.
God is not quarantined.
And you can, that's right. Which reminds me of the meme. I think it's, wait a minute. I'm getting a sense. Almost a spiritual movement of grace. I'm inspired. I think we have a very special moment, a special time, and it's called Meme Time.
It's meme time, it's meme time. Gather all your friends, it's meme time. It's meme time, it's meme time. The only cure for sadness. It's meme time, it's meme time. Gather all your friends, it's meme time. It's meme time, it's meme time. The only cure for sadness.
Chuck Norris caught the coronavirus, but he felt sorry. He felt sorry for it, so he let it go. I just love the Chuck Norris stuff.
I met Chuck Norris one time, and I got a picture of him. We'll have to show it one time. I wish I had it prepared. I got a picture of him punching me in the face. It's the best picture I have. I survived. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's like
that is awesome.
Fist to the side of my. So I thought I wanted him to just do this. And he actually put his fist on my face and pushed like this. So, and I'm grinning from ear to ear because I'm so shocked. You
guys didn't see that, but he punched me in the face just now.
I just punched.
So how was it again? He was like like actually. Maybe you want to read.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So
go ahead.
I asked him to take a picture like this.
Do exactly what
he did. And then
he
did this.
That's what he did right there. Yeah.
No touching.
You shouldn't have washed your face after that. Like, you just keep that because Chuck Norris punched it.
There was lots of debates that night.
Chuck
about
Norris
what I
punched
do.
it, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, we'll have to show that next week or next Conversing Clergy, whenever that is.
That would be awesome. All right. Let's see. One more question. Marianne asks, why can't one person act as a single sponsor for the RCIA class? The class is very small this year. I don't know the answer to that one. That's a good question, though. Yeah, I don't, but I'm not sure how that would solve the issue with regard to timing. But at any rate,
I will just say, since I'm not the pastor and I can say this in defense of the pastor, right now isn't the time for us to be like super creative and figure out solutions that aren't technically what the bishop asked. Like we do want to be kind of obedient to the spirit of the laws right now. I don't think bishops get super impressed and you're like, oh wow, I didn't technically say you couldn't do that.
Yeah, we really have to understand the reasoning behind it too. So yeah, we're just in a very difficult time, folks, and we're gonna continue through this together. We're gonna continue offering the Conversing Clergy, this kind of format of Conversing Clergy. We're doing the Rosary every single day. Can we go ahead and establish a time tonight for our Rosary? It's gonna be in English, right?
We got it. Oh, you're saying for tomorrow?
Yeah, for tomorrow.
I'm
trying to think of a Rosary.
Well-
a good time.
Because I mean, I'm
Tomorrow's Thursday, so there is the Spanish Mass. So we don't want to,
Which you
for
have-
people who might
yeah,
want to do the Spanish Mass, which Father Ricardo has. But I think 3 p.m. might be a good time. Do you have something to do at 3 p.m.? No.
I can do 3.
Father Ricardo, you think you can join at 3? So it's official now. 3 p.m. Rosary tomorrow in English, and then the last decade in Latin, so we can continue to pray together as a family wherever we are. So, 7 p.m. That's a great time. But the problem is that people are going to be in the Mass, are going to be watching the Mass at 7 p.m. at the Spanish Mass, and some of the Spanish speakers who go to that, who are participating in that Mass online, we don't want to keep them from also joining in the Rosary. So that's how we'll do it. 3 p.m. tomorrow.
Which tomorrow's Rosary is going to be in English.
Yeah. Clara, the sisters are doing really well. I saw them today. They're in good spirits. It's tough for them, but they're in good spirits. So before we end tonight, please like the video, share the live stream, hit subscribe, thumbs up, the bell icon so you get notifications. We really appreciate your help on that. And then people are asking about how to help in terms of giving to St. Bartholomew. We are definitely really short on our collections because people aren't there at the Sunday Masses. So our only means of getting a collection is through the Faith Direct website. So I can actually show you where to go because now I figured out how to do this special window. So what you can do is switch over there. You can go to the website st-bart.org. When you go there, then you go to Faith Direct Give Now. And then that's my login right there. You go there, and then you can enroll in recurring e-giving or make a one-time gift now. And you just sign up. So if you can do that, you can enroll. And unfortunately, if you're not a parishioner of St. Bartholomew, you can still give, but it's like a registration process. Not that we're going to stop you from doing that. So, we really appreciate it, even if you're just going to make a one-time gift. So at any rate, so people were asking about that. So you can go to, again, the St. Bart's page, Faith Direct Give Now. And then
I know there are many parishioners who are donating still.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you so much. Even with all of the economic stuff that's happening, we really do appreciate you. So.
And it's funny, I think I was always in the camp of like, well, I'm going to be there anyway. Do you think I don't go to Mass every Sunday? Like, why do I need to register online?
Yeah.
Well, here we are.
Well, here it is.
Here we are.
Yeah, and we should have told people that. I said, if there is a global pandemic, then you're gonna wish you had registered.
Yeah, we should. Fear mongering.
Anyway, an asteroid hits. What are you gonna do then? So, at any rate, all right. So thank you again for joining us for this Conversing Clergy. We hope that these top 5 things helped you, and also the Q&A. And please continue to dialogue with us. You can continue to chat, maybe leave your own ideas in the chat in terms of things that you're doing as well. And then we'll continue this next week. I'm not sure exactly when our next Conversing Clergy will be in terms of us getting together to chat, but we'll do one really, really soon. And I'm going to continue to publish my own stuff as well in the homily previews and the homily afterthoughts. And we just got a lot that we're going to try to do as much as we can online and through live streaming. Okay. Well, God's blessings to you. Again, my name is Father Christopher Plant. I'm the pastor of St. Bartholomew here in Katy, Texas.
Father Rick, parochial vicar.
Christopher Meyer, Sim.
You've been watching Conversing Clergy Live. God's blessings to you and have a good night and stay healthy.
Here I am at your door. Would you let me